There were 36 executives, former executives, managers, coaches, and scouts to tell us which front offices, managers, and players are feeling the most heat heading into the season. So if you take a look at it, apparently garnering 18 votes, KP, Bryce Harper and the Phillies core group. This is kind of coming off of the whole conversation with Dombrowski saying that Bryce Harper is no longer elite. David Stearns, Mendy of the Mets, AJ Preller, who just got an extension in the Padres front office, Aaron Judge, who just hit a 2-run home run, by the way, and the Yankees players, Dana Brown of the Astros, Joe Espada, Manny Machado, and the Padres players. So the Friars showing up twice on this list by The Athletic. Let's start with number one, KP. Bryce Harper is a guy that I never question. I never worry about him. I never question his work ethic. Why do you think they are saying that Bryce Harper has a lot to prove?
As his general manager, president of baseball operations, put a target on his back. That's probably why he's the number one person on this list. I've never questioned anything Bryce Harper's ever done in his career. It is hard to be at an elite level every single year. And even when he is not elite, he is still better than most guys. He just happened to have not an elite year last year. And I think it's unfair for his GM and president of baseball operations to kind of put that target on his back. I would really like to see that list turn to maybe the pressure should be on the Phillies front office because they've been a team that's been oh so close many times, and they've built this really nice core group of players together led by Bryce Harper and just haven't been able to win a World Series.
Bryce Harper, by the way, only had a 129 OPS plus last year. So, I mean, it wasn't like he was absolutely awful. He was still pretty damn good. I mean, it wasn't the 140 when he's won the the MVPs, but he was still pretty good. I mean, you take Preller and the Padres front office off this list, they just got extended, right? David Stearns, He's not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, I guess the heat would be on Mendy, but you can't say David Stearns, Carlos Mendoza, and the Mets. I mean, David Stearns isn't going anywhere. He's only been there for 2 years. Aaron Judge and the Yankees players, okay, fair. They haven't won a World Series. Judge is the captain. That's how you're measured. Dana Brown, Joe Espada, and the Astros, I think they're both in the last year of their contract. So, yes, there's some heat on them, but they also have had to make some moves because of payroll. And the Manny Machado and the Padres players do pretty well every year. They're in it every year. They're in the hunt, but they're getting older, and they're also – what gets me about when you say players, if the payroll like the Padres goes down and Preller's not allowed to spend more money, why does more pressure go on the players? They're going to go out and do the same thing, but they might need reinforcements. Guys get hurt. They lose guys. It doesn't make sense how you can say they're under the most heat. Like, why? Because they need to play better? You can't go out there and say, this, KP. You can't go out there and say, man, I really need to hit 50 homers even though I hit 40 last year because there's so much heat on us. Like, no, they're going to go out and do what they do.
Yeah, I mean, the Padres just happen to be in a tough position in the division they're in, but they're putting themselves in a position to get to the postseason mostly every year. And yes, it would be nice to see them kind of break through, but I don't see a lot of pressure on Manny Machado in that group. Yes, that core group has kind of been together for a while now too, and they ultimately haven't, won a World Series. And I think that's how we're measuring greatness of players and greatness of organizations. It just happens to be a tough time to be any organization with what the Dodgers have been able to do. And, with the Mets, I mean, I think that's also a unfair pressure to put on David Stearns and their manager there too, because I think a lot of that pressure is coming from, Steve Cohen taking over the team, 5 years ago or now 6 years ago and guaranteeing, the Mets and the city of New York is going to bring a World Series champion. So sometimes I think it's good to be very confident in what you're doing, but like AJ said, it's hard to put this additional pressure on players to go out and perform even better than they've already performed, because as players, we already have a lot of pressure on ourselves to go out and perform, and no one puts more pressure on ourselves. They don't need that extra push from, someone sitting up in that ivory tower.
There is not a list in the world that Aaron Judge should be on, AJ, in terms of more pressure on him. The guy was the American League MVP. What else could he possibly do? I mean, give me a break.
Three-time, Alanna, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. How could he even be on a list of having more what else could he possibly
Just because they haven't won a World Series. That's it. But it actually shouldn't this be Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone in the front office?
Yeah, it should be Cashman and Boone, not Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, what pressures? All he does is go out and compete. And you know what he also did last year, Alanna, for the first time? He performed in the postseason last year for the first time. So you can't even begin to throw Aaron Judge on this list. Now, you want to put some other players on that list? Fine. Anthony Volpe maybe is under some pressure. Stanton to stay healthy, right? I mean, there's some other guys you could probably throw on that list, but to put Aaron Judge on that list, I mean, that team, they're the same team they were last year pretty much. They've admitted it. They think they have a championship caliber team. Aaron Judge is going to do what he does every year if he's healthy, and that's go out and hit 300 plus and hit 50 homers and probably win an MVP. So, yeah, that's this is unbelievable. He's even on this list.
I mean, he even said that he was surprised that the Yankees didn't make more offseason moves. He said what everybody else was thinking. He is a captain by definition. In terms of the managers, guys, who were specifically mentioned as having pressure on them, Kurt Suzuki of the Angels received the most votes in terms of this list. 5 votes. Tony Vitello, the new manager of the Giants, Mendy of the Mets, Rob Thompson of the Philadelphia Phillies, Aaron Boone, of course. The Yankees are always on this list. I get that. And then Oliver Marmol of the Cardinals. Let's start with Kurt Suzuki, though. First-time manager. Obviously, oftentimes catchers become good managers. They're good managers for a reason. Kurt Suzuki, though, think about what's around him. We just had the conversation, KP, of Artie Moreno not expecting to win. It's not in his top 5 in terms of priority. I almost feel like it's already at a disadvantage for Suzuki. And by the way, they only gave him a 1-year contract. I mean, what does that say to you?
Yeah, I wish whoever voted on this wasn't anonymous and we could see who's voting on these players. Like, how is Kurt Suzuki under any pressure except for the fact that he has a 1-year deal, and if it doesn't work out, he'll probably go back and resume his role as special assistant. It's hard to put a pressure on a manager when we've talked about being part of an organization that clearly doesn't value winning. So I don't understand the pressure on him. I can understand the pressure a little bit on Tony Vitello just coming from the college game, and we haven't really seen a manager go from a powerhouse in college directly to the major league. So, unfairly, maybe he has a little bit of a target on his back. And if you go down the list, obviously those are teams that are expected to win right now. And there's always pressure on managers when you're part of organizations like the Yankees, the Mets, teams that are expected to win right now, the Phillies. I can understand some of those, but Kurt Suzuki to be at the top of that list just seems very odd to me.
Well, Mike,
AJ, do you think? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, here's the thing about Kurt Suzuki being on top of this list, right? Kurt Suzuki has a 1-year deal, and Artie Moreno just says he doesn't care about winning. So, what pressure is there on Kurt Suzuki? He go 0-162 and be like, "Boss, you just told me you don't care if we win any games. So as long as people have fun and get to go cheap, then why does it matter if I win or lose?" So there's no pressure on Kurt Suzuki. I promise you, Kurt Suzuki is not feeling pressure. He's feeling pressure because he wants to do well for himself. He wants to do right for the players, and he wants to do right for the Angels fans. But he's not feeling pressure because anybody else is putting him on. As far as Tony Vitello, he's got a nice contract. He's got a nice deal. The pressure on him is just to prove that what people are saying, that a college coach can't just jump from college to the big league. So I don't know. I don't agree with this list. I mean, Carlos Mendoza, you manage in New York. Guess what? There's pressure. Rob Thompson, you manage in Philadelphia. There's pressure. Aaron Boone, you manage in New York. And Ollie Marmol, the only pressure is they have Yadi Molina in their front office and a whole new regime. So they're not supposed to win anyways this year. So what pressure is on him? If they let him go, I think he's at the last year of his contract too. So if they let him go, he's like, okay, guys, I did what you wanted. I got you through the rough times, and then they bring in someone else. I mean, this is an interesting list. There's never any pressure on managers. I mean, you want pressure on managers? I would look at like a AJ Hinch, right? Tigers are supposed to be really good. He's a veteran guy. He's been around. Just don't mess it up, right? Even here, Dan Wilson with the Mariners. Just don't mess it up. Let the players go play, be yourself, and don't mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, those two managers, you could throw John Schneider in there. You obviously have a ton of success last year. Can you back it up? But ultimately, it comes down to the players. But to your point, just be the same guy you were, deliver the same message, let your players go out and play. Don't mess it up. And then if I was, to kind of just throw out a random name there, I mean, I would imagine there's got to be a little bit of pressure on a guy like Skip Schumacher just because of the shoes he's filling with Bruce Bochy. And I know last year didn't go as well as they wanted, but Bruce Bochy did lead them to their one and only World Series championship. He's a Hall of Fame manager, stepped away. Those are kind of big shoes to fill.
What about Craig Stammen? Why is he not on the list?
Because he's in San Diego. He's a first-year guy. Well, again, for me, the first-year guys, there's not pressure on them. other than to just not completely, when pull a Gabe Kapler when he wanted the righty and he put up his left hand, right? Like, what else? This is your first year as a manager. You're going to make mistakes. There's not the only pressure is what you put on yourself. I'm sorry. I mean, Alex Cora, does he have pressure on him? Craig Counsell with his team, those are the guys that are veteran guys that have been around and done it. When you're in your first year, you can make mistakes and be like, look, guys, it's my first year. I'll learn from it. But when you're Craig Counsell making $8 million a year with the Cubs team that's expected to win, that's when the pressure should be ramped up. Not these first year guys. These first year guys, whatever.
Can you throw
KP,
in a
how
guy like Walt Weiss in there too? I mean, he's stepping into, filling some big shoes too, and obviously he's had some history managing before, and it's his second go around. I mean, I feel like a guy like that would be a little bit more justified on this list as opposed to some of these names we saw. So hopefully some of these people that voted will not be anonymous and put their name next to their vote so we can maybe understand a little bit better why they chose who they chose.
KP, how big of a learning curve do you think Vitello is going to have? I mean, yes, I understand it's the same game, but it's at a completely different level. It's not like he recruited these guys, right? I mean, this is his team. I know that they've surrounded him with some very smart people to help him along the way, but how hard of a first year do you think he'll have?
I mean, from everything that I've been hearing out of Scottsdale, that the players love this guy. He brings such great energy. He brings such great vibes. And honestly, that's kind of the biggest thing you can want out of a manager is communication. Does he put off good vibes? Does he put off good energy? And obviously there's the in-game adjustment, but he's surrounded by great people. He has a great staff around him. And yeah, the biggest challenge he is going to face, and he's openly talked about it, is in college, you're only playing 3 or 4 games potentially in a row. You can go to your best guys in the bullpen very often. Learning how to kind of manage a bullpen is always going to be the biggest challenge for someone going from the college game to the big league game, because it's hard to go to your best guys every single game when you're playing, 15, 16, 17 games in a row. But everything I've heard from there is he's an incredible guy. He's an incredible leader. He makes baseball fun. He gets out there, interacts with the guys. The communication's been great, and I'm looking forward to watching him.
There's another list too in terms of front offices, managers under pressure. The Mets the most, the Royals the least. Well, I guess the Royals tie with the Red Sox, the rookies. They should be the rookies. The Rockies, Cardinals, and the Royals. I think the Red Sox guys should be a little bit higher than this. I mean, the Red Sox didn't do a ton as far as the offseason, I guess. Not if you listen to their fan base. Should the Red Sox be higher than this, AJ? Or are you okay with where they rank, I guess, on this list?
I think the Red Sox are fine because Alex Cora, they love Alex Cora. Breslow's fairly new. I think they're fine. The Red Sox have changed. There used to be a lot of pressure in Boston. Now they're the Red Sox. They just, I don't know. It's different up there now. You live up there, Alanna. It's different. It's not as pressure packed since they've won those World Series that it used to be.